Have you ever found yourself thinking, I can't do this? It's just too hard. What if I fail? Imagine if you could flip that narrative and start thinking things like, what if it all works out? Or what can I do to actually make that happen? That, my friend, is the mindset of an entrepreneur. Hi, my name is Rachel. Welcome to the 5-part series that I have entitled Think Like an Entrepreneur. I've spent close to 2 decades knowing that I wanted to own my own business. I've had more failed attempts than I care to share, but what I do realize is that these were all stepping stones to get me to where I am today. And while failure of sorts is inevitable, I've compacted all of these lessons that I've learned in hopes to bring you some clarity on your entrepreneurial journey. In this series, we are going to talk about personal narrative, that belief system. We are going to talk about mental resilience. We are going to talk about adaptability. We will talk about taking risks and the way that you respond to failure. And finally, we will talk all about problem-solving skills. Every entrepreneur's journey starts off with a story. And it's not only the story that you tell others, it's the story that you tell yourself. Your personal narrative shapes your beliefs, your actions, and ultimately your success. Unfortunately, many of us have narratives that are full of self-doubt and negativity. I'm not good enough. I'll never be able to do it. How will I ever succeed? Sound familiar? As an entrepreneur, these kind of scripts can be incredibly limiting. They can prevent you from taking risks, seizing or even noticing opportunities, and ultimately achieving your goals. But the good news is you can always rewrite the script. Here's how you can shift your negative script into a positive one. It's a 4-step journey. First, you need to identify your beliefs, and you have to be really honest with yourself. Sometimes we make up excuses for the negative thoughts that we have, but if you're really truly wanting to flip your script, you need to stop doing that. You have to absolutely be honest. So go ahead and write down some negative thoughts that you have. Step 2 is challenging those thoughts. Ask yourself, is that really true? Because a lot of times when we look at our negative narratives, when we look at our old belief systems, a lot of the things that we think are actually unfounded. Step 3 is rewriting your script. So when you look at the thing that you wrote down for a negative thought, I challenge you to rewrite it in the positive. This can be absolutely empowering. So for example, if your negative narrative was, I can't do this, you might want to rewrite it into something that sounds like, I am capable and ready to take on challenges. And then finally, step 4 is reinforcing this through an affirmation. So whatever it is that you rewrote, I am capable and ready to take on challenges, this is something that daily you would remind yourself of. In the beginning, probably several times a day. You see, the distance between the way you feel now and the way you want to feel begins with self-awareness. When you make a point of noticing your internal dialogue, this is when the magic can happen. This is when big things happen. This is when the shift can happen. But like I said before, you have to be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, there's no way that your narrative is going to change. So make a point every day to be aware of that constant internal chatter that is happening all the time. This is something that you might want to consider carving out a small block of time for yourself each and every day, whether it's meditation, whether it's a walk in the woods, whatever you choose, whatever activity you choose, it should be something that is quiet so that your mind can actually open up and recognize what is being said. What are you telling yourself on a daily? And even if it's just a small block of time to reinforce that daily affirmation that you wrote, this will help keep your internal dialogue in constant check. Now, of course, this exercise isn't something that you're going to do once or twice or for a week and notice a huge change. This has to be something that you commit constantly to. But if you make a point of becoming really aware of your self-talk, you will notice through the run of a day how many times you say something that supports a limiting belief. And to be fair, a lot of these limiting beliefs came from our upbringing, came from society, came from our own insecurities. So of course it's going to take time to shift, and of course it's going to take time to change. But the most successful business people, the most successful entrepreneurs will tell you that they carve out time each day for a quiet space, for a time where they can reflect, and for a time where they can get creative. And the only way that this can happen is to recognize your internal dialogue and to make sure that you're not allowing that negative talk to seep in, especially when you're facing obstacles, especially when you're hitting a roadblock. That is the most crucial time to become self-aware. I think a lot of times many of us actually have the exact same kind of negative narrative. So I'm curious, what negative thought did you write down? Put it down in the comments so we can build a community together to support each other out of that negative mindset and into the positive. So thinking about your business right now, what is your internal script telling you? Are you in a good space right now? Are you in a space of scarcity? Do you tell yourself, I'm never going to be able to make it, or it's too hard, or everybody else has so much more than I do? Tell me what your narrative is. The way you feel directly impacts the results you get. So ask yourself, when I say whatever internal dialogue is happening right now in my mind, how does it make me feel? And if your internal script right now is one of negativity, another activity that you might want to try is writing out your why. Why did you decide to start doing this in the first place? Why is it important to you? Why is it something that you want for your now and for your future? And sometimes when you come back to your authentic why, it helps you change your script when you're thinking a negative dialogue. In part 2 of the series, Think Like an Entrepreneur, we're going to talk about mental resilience. Mental resilience builds on the foundation of inner dialogue. It's all about how to stay strong and bounce back from setbacks that we all encounter as entrepreneurs. We'll see you in the next one, and remember, trust your own journey.